Hey there. These are the 2024 predictions part two. I recorded Meghan and Harry's a couple days ago, and I also recorded one on Alexei Navalny a couple days ago. And it's very interesting because Meghan and Harry, since then, he has won his court case, one of his court case, one of many who won a judgment in that court case, or the one paper had to pay him money. So I find it interesting what I said in my prediction. So anyway, you can listen to that. And I also looked into the UK, their prime minister. I also looked into Canada and the parties there, the Justin Trudeau, and what may happen in 2024, which is interesting. I also looked at Ukraine, not so much into Putin, but you'll see. And also just little tidbits here and there that I meditated on, and I got some information. And I try to do things in pictures and explain to them in pictures, but I can draw them out, but I think that would take too long. So, all right. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. And I will see you on the other side. First, I wanted to say a little something. Someone mentioned in the comments section, which I love you guys putting in comments. That makes me happy because I know you're paying attention to what I'm doing, and it gives me some hope. But how I could talk about worldly things and still offer messages from Spirit and God, like how maybe they're not connected somehow. Well, I think this is my belief, and I think as humans we experience life and death, war, pain, famine, triumph of will in our lifetimes, right? We can have both. We can have an understanding of what energies are on earth and still live in the light of God, channeling him to do its best for the highest good and be the best person that we can be. It's about having faith, and that's how I look at my channel. I want to remind everybody to have faith and that all is well. But as we travel around the sun every year, things happen that are out of our control. So I discuss those here, and I also give hope. And I also want you to stay positive and live in the light, and you'll have less fear. Give you that information and channel the positivity of God and the love and the light. Hopefully that makes some sense. Okay. So I looked into Alexei Navalny like last week when I heard he didn't show up for trial. Or was that 3 or 4 days ago? And I saw him outside of the prison walls. He's an activist in anti-corruption, Russian activist. He got, sorry about that. He got poisoned in Germany and he got well. And I'm sure it wasn't Putin. No, I'm sure not. Anyway, he went back to Russia. I don't know why, but he did that. And he's been in jail a year and a half, maybe 2. Anyway, they said he didn't show up for trial. Nobody knows where he is. Okay, so last week when I looked into this, or 2 days ago, whatever it is, I saw him outside of the prison walls. Imagine a prison has those high walls. He's just on the other side, but he's under. And I saw that the other day, and then I was watching Linda G. Comanche, and she literally said he's under something. And I was like, wait, I thought that, but I didn't put it on a video. So take it or leave it, but that's what happened. But I don't know if he's passed away, but it's right outside the door. So I don't feel like he would be dead right outside the door, but he's definitely under something. And I don't feel great about it. I feel like he's got, let me pull some cards, but I don't feel he's either weak or gone. That sucks. King of Wands, Star. 10 of Swords. Okay, that's confusing. King of Wands. I think that's kind of him. I don't know if he's a Gemini. I think he might be a Gemini, which is air, which is not fire, but he could just, have a fire sign. June, yeah. So this is him, star. Him. Actually, this is the star, which is about having faith about the situation. Or he's gone up into the stars. And he's helping people with his protesting with his body and his humanity. Let me pull some. Let me just do this again. Okay. Where is he? Is he alive or dead? Is he alive or dead? Oh, 10 of Pentacles and Lovers. He's alive, I think. Maybe they shipped him, even though I see him under, next to the walls of the prison. Don't see him moving anywhere, but maybe they shipped him somewhere else. Another partner with Russia that's working with them, maybe taking him, like another Putin ally. Yeah. He's a magician. That's interesting. I think he's still around. But I don't know where. He's underground in some sort of prison, like one of those things you see in Mission Impossible where they go under and they have the clanking of the steel doors and the evil villain lives on an island somewhere. Not that he's there, but yeah, he's out of the jail, but he's underground. And I think he's still alive. So, good. I hope that's true. But he is weaker. He doesn't feel very strong. And somebody else is taking care of him so they don't get blamed for it. Yeah, I think that's it. So, wow, let's all send positive energy, healing light to him. And may the grace of God lift him up in spirit so he can get through this. And we'll all adjust as time passes to the situation. But yeah, not great. I have a little tidbit on Navalny when I was meditating today or yesterday again. I saw him not only under something, well, actually, I take that back. I saw him above digging. Before, he was under something. Now I see him digging. And the walls of the prison, he was outside the walls, and he's alive, but he was digging. So I don't know if they have him on some sort of labor camp or something like that. He was digging, and then I saw him, I thought, well, is he weak or, sick? And I saw him healthy and smiling really, really big. So I don't know. I don't think he's passed on and he's smiling because he's happy. There's something happening with him where he, in 2024, I think it's sort of mid-year, summer-ish, that something's going to happen with him, and he'll get some visibility or some attention or something. And time is nebulous. Time is hard to call, but that's the feeling I get. But it's super weird. And I also wrote on here maybe December something, but right now I'm feeling summer. But on the prison walls, it's like he's glued to the prison walls, like he's spread out, like there's a protection on this prison walls, and he's separate from that, but he's like kind of like when you walk on a wall, like on a ledge, like you don't want to fall. So maybe it's a very fragile, like you could take one step and go over. So there's something like that happening. So they're being very careful. All right. So speaking of Russia and Ukraine, the first thing I heard was screaming. I heard people screaming in Ukraine, and I felt really bad, and it made me feel sick. I saw that, and I don't know the map of Ukraine, but I've seen it on the news. And I see on the west, or whatever that is, northwest side, and I think that's where Poland and Belarus and that sort of thing are over there. I saw something moving or something open, and maybe that's just Poland, but I did see an opening over there that people were coming back in. It wasn't they were going out, they were coming back in. And then I saw dominoes falling, and I'm assuming that means one thing starts and another, that sort of thing. So I don't feel like that's necessarily related to fighting. It's more about the humanity part of it. Maybe there's an exchange or people are helping. Maybe they're coming more into the country to help more. And I also saw 2024 in the bottom of Ukraine. Well, it's this way. So the bottom right of Ukraine right here, I saw a counterclockwise motion. That would be this way for you. A counterclockwise motion where Zelensky was rounding up, or the soldiers will be where the fighting is, where that border is, where it's very, it's some Russian dominance control, some Ukrainian control, some lots of ins and outs. And that's the area where it's been fought for this last 2 years or however long it's been. But I saw a counterclockwise rotation where they were gathering up, kind of like when you gather up tall, like wheat, that kind of stuff. And they're gathering it up and they're throwing it out. So I do think that there will be a push in 2024 and there will be some clear success. So pushing out the Russian soldiers or the Russians. But I also saw that it's not going to finish. 2024 is not going to finish. It's a long ways yet. But I did see that area being less Russian, more Ukrainian, but also on the border of Ukraine, which is on the east side, where all those mixed areas are, where they're coming in from the Crimea area over that way, or Russia area over that way, that it is a very hard border. Like there's a black line, and it's almost like the fighting has to stay there, and that area, maybe eventually they're going to have a talk where they kick the Russians out, but there'll be some sort of agreement or something. But it's going to be many years of skirmishes or areas where they're going to let people locate, but it won't be good. It's just going to be a mishmash on that one side. But I did see Russia, because I saw red coming in from the one side, the other side of Russia, or the other side of Ukraine, where there's red, like Russia wants to push in on top there. So they're going to try another strategy. I did see fields of grain. I see the grain is going out. I saw the boats in the harbor, or ships coming and receiving the grain. I saw it doing really well. So I don't see the grain being limited. So that's good. I don't think Ukraine will join the EU yet. They won't allow them in yet. So that's, yeah. And it's not over in 2024. Okay. In my notes. Canada. I looked into Justin Trudeau and I saw him in Ottawa on his heels, and he has a big black wall behind him, like he's against the wall, his back against the wall. I'm guessing that's the analogy. His back against the wall and it's black, and he's on his heels like he's falling back like he's being pushed back. The NDP are looking at him like kind of this face of, like, whoever the NDP is, like a face, giving him the side eye, like, really? That's what I'm seeing them. I also see a sieve, the sink drain with all the holes where the water goes through, but it catches big stuff. I see the old Senate or the old boys club, and I see the money going through this. And once it's gone through, they can't catch it. So there is money pouring into, I don't know if I want to say corruption, but there's definitely money going to places that, a lot of money is going to places that they can't really stop right now. I did see the Conservative Party running through a maze and hitting walls. There's there's 20 people that want to run for the Conservative, like the leader, so maybe to put Trudeau out of his job. They're running through, but each time they go through a maze, they hit a wall and it knocks one out and it knocks another one out. So there's only 2 or 3 later, get out of the maze or stop hitting the walls that make it through, which is typical of any kind of political campaign. I did see somebody coming from the west, and I don't know if it's Saskatchewan or Manitoba. I don't think it's as far as Alberta. Somebody coming from the west, and it's like Teddy Roosevelt on horseback with a sword, like racing fast. So either it's going to come by, I think it's a man, will come along really quickly out of the blue. But I do think he's from the prairie provinces. And he is going to, like I heard the cavalry, or is like Mighty Mouse, or is come to save the day, when he's racing to go. So I did see that. And I felt people will really like this person. And I do think it's possible he could win. I'm not 100% sure, but I do think it's possible that he could beat Trudeau. Because I did see Trudeau stumbling, like he just got out of a bar and he's like drunk, or he's been in a fight and he's stumbling. And I also saw his energy is weak. Like doesn't have the energy to do this job anymore. So he is right to be overturned as the prime minister. Okay. Then I saw Danielle Smith of Alberta, because I know she's wanting to get rid of the national pension plan and keep Alberta's money in Alberta to divvy it up in Alberta. So all the money can stay there, and they can pay for the pension there. And the federal government, and most people don't want that. I think it's been pretty obvious that people don't want it. But I did see her dealing cards, like she's the dealer, and she's got a full house, and she's dealing everybody's cards. So that could mean she's making deals. She is offering people hands or different high cards, low cards. And I think she's trying to help them by looking like she's helping them win, but she's really got a stacked deck and she's got the full house. So, but I don't see her staying. I don't think she'll be there through the end of the year. I think somehow, some way she's going to be out next year. And it'll be another conservative person. I don't think it'll be a liberal or NDP person. I just know from the type of money that's in Alberta and the type of people, they like a more conservative person. So that's not psychic, that's just logical. Okay. Yeah, but the guy on horseback is really kind of neat. I'm excited about that one. And let's see. There's a line drawn. Oh, yeah, this was interesting. So, and I don't know what this means exactly, but between the Maritimes and Ottawa or Ontario, I saw a strong line drawn, and somehow they want to separate themselves. Nova Scotia and PEI and Newfoundland and all that. It's almost like they want to separate themselves. And I don't know if they're thinking about doing this, and it's one of those ideas. Well, some of the provinces want to have their own life, but it's something about, I saw a hull of a ship, a wooden ship, not like a big cruise ship, but an old ship where it's wood and you can see the wood slats and it's steaming through the water. So I don't know if this has to do with something they're doing proprietary shipbuilding or keeping some industry there, or maybe getting an industry from the rest of, something in the world. So it seemed very positive, and it's something that will help their lifestyle or their economy. And maybe it's having to do with tourism, but they're keeping it like to themselves. So that was very interesting. Fishing maybe even, but they already fish there. So there's something, maybe they're going to come up with a way to get all the proceeds from some particular deal or fishing or something where they get them. So I think there's something like that, or boat building, something. I already told you about Trudeau. Okay, I think that's Canada. And I don't think that pension plan, again, back to Canada, I don't think the pension plan's going to go. But that's, I've looked at the polls and they don't want it. And I do think that she doesn't understand Danielle Smith doesn't understand how the system works. She's not an accountant. She's being told things. And I think she believes these people who are telling these things, and she wants to believe them. But she doesn't understand the system and how it works well enough to make those decisions. And she also wants to divert some of that money. She wants people to get paid their pensions. But in her mind, I think she wants to divert it to other projects. that she wants, that she'll get more votes for. Okay, so now the UK. So what I did see was the UK is a man, and it's the personification. He had a vertical striped jacket, kind of like those old-timey 1890s, turn of the century jackets, where sometimes you see them in very traditional places in England, and the guy had a top hat. He was almost ridiculous because he looked like a carnival barker or something, but it was very old, traditional English looking. But so that was the person that I saw in the UK as taking the place of the UK. But I also saw his pants were torn, like above the knees, like you couldn't see them. All you could see was the jacket and the top hat, and he was showing off, and he was great and confident, and his chest was out and he felt good. But below where you couldn't see, you could see his knees, and his knees were dirty. So he'd been kneeling, he'd been falling, and his pants were torn to the point of shorts. So it tells me UK is really struggling to put on their best self. They show the world they're still good and everything's fine, and this is the traditional English way, and they're very proud of it. Very proud. That's the one thing I got, was there's a deep sense of pride. And that's what's keeping them sort of stuck from making Brexit or any kind of EU cooperative contract to make the economies work together with the countries in Europe. So I also saw that the economy is pink and raw. Like if you took like a piece of like raw meat, pink, like pork, and laid it across the land. I saw that. It was just raw, and it was very vulnerable. That's the part I saw. And I also saw that they are going to have an exchange of immigrants, which makes no sense. And I don't know how this works, why people would do that. But I saw them sending immigrants to the mainland of Europe, and it's at the top near Poland or whatever's across up there, Sweden, Norway, Finland, up that way. I see them there's an exchange. So I don't know if they're receiving or if they're just sending. But I do feel like there's some sort of exchange happening, or immigrants that work in certain areas are coming back and forth. That's what I saw. And it felt like it was governmental. It wasn't just people moving in and out. It was almost like there was a support system by the government to do this. Now, I did see this, and I don't know what this means. So there's a very dark current, and I followed it under the UK or England itself. And it's in the ocean, and it goes all the way down around Europe, and it goes to what I think of as Morocco, North Africa, that area. Maybe Spain, but I don't feel like it. It's in Africa. So it's the top of Africa, Morocco, and I don't think Egypt, but in that way. There's a very dark, it's almost like if you look at the sea, and there's a big school of fish that was so black, and it's coming through, and you can barely see it, but it's moving and going. So there's some sort of undercurrent of either corruption or dark money fueling England. So this is for entertainment purposes only. So, this is all I'm seeing. It's my opinion on what I'm seeing. And the dark water is draining what some of the positive economic growth that they're having. There's some sort of thing that's pulling out. It's almost like it's coming out from under and going back and forth. So I don't know if there's some outside banks or some economic industry that's sucking England dry, or there's so much corruption. I do feel like I saw that the corruption, or the rich people, like there's a really definite difference between the wealthy there and the regular class people. And I saw 2/3 of the country is on the lower end of the spectrum, maybe 3/4, and the top end is the wealthy. And they're the ones that are holding back, creating that economic boom because they don't want it to change. They love their tradition and they love that mindset, and they want to keep whatever the system is that they have their money. So this is kind of complicated. They don't want it to happen. They don't want to lose any of that, where they can work with the European Union and have a common, the European dollar, what is it called? Euro. And because there's a couple things. It's about tradition, which is what they tell the people it is. It's about tradition and national pride and being our own entity, keeping ourselves isolated and not getting sucked in by all the immigrants and making our lives change so dramatically that we lose a sense of England. There's that. But there's also backroom talks. Money will be lost. Corruption. And it's not looking for the best for England's sake. They're looking at it for themselves. So there's a lot of layers. So I can see why this Brexit agreement fell through, because there's a lot of powerful people that didn't want it to work. And they want the pound to stay the pound. Ultimately, and I asked, well, what if it does go to the euro, and if they do have all these economic combinations with Europe and, treaties, and will it help them ultimately? And if they did that, and I saw that, yes, the economy would grow, but I also saw that they would lose some of their personality, if that makes sense, or their image or the English way of life, kind of, sort of. There's something like that. And so they are right when it comes to the England losing that personality or those traditions. Some of that would get faded or reduced. So that is what's holding back a lot of people. What we feel about ourselves really means a lot. So once that hammer drops or one thing falls, then all of a sudden everything falls. So what's true anymore? So I think people are scared of what would happen. They fear change. They lose their nation. But they will change and grow, but it's going to take a really long time. And eventually it will degrade anyway. England will fall apart anyway, even. So if they do take on the euro, if they do have this economic treaties and that kind of stuff, or contracts, it will help them. They're going to change. It would divert some of their national image, or it will change it quite a bit. But either way, it's going to happen. They're going to lose that image over time anyway, and they'll have pockets of strength in their economy, but a lot of it will they have to change. It's just what it is. And it's just what it is. So they do feel they will lose some personality, get infiltrated, but also some good business. Yeah, corruption from Africa, Spain, Portugal, dark waters. I already told you that. They're working on a bridge and commonalities, but there's too many isolationists. So I think there's some sort of bridge that wants to go. But like I said, too many isolationists that don't want to. The guy in the striped jacket doesn't want it to happen. I did that. I briefly looked into, let me go to Rishi Sunak. So he's the conservative prime minister. And I saw him, I saw him as, I know he's wealthy and his wife is wealthy. But what I did see was that he was trying. Okay, so if you can imagine England like this, and he's coming up, shoveling across the face of England, skimming the top with like a snow shovel. A snow shovel is wide and flat. And it's just scraping the top, getting rid of the weeds. And it's like literally scraping as he goes, tossing them, scraping as he goes, and he's tossing them. But as he's going through the top of England and cleaning out, it's only surface. It's like a weed. If you don't get the root, it's going to come back. So right behind him, after he scoops it and throws it over and scoops it and goes over, right behind him, the weeds are coming back up again. And I think these are either people, policies, ideas, old ways of doing stuff. Mostly I thought it was people, but is that immigrants? I know. Anyway, so I saw him scooping and throwing away. So he's going to get to the end of the year and he's going to turn around and go, hey, look at all the stuff I did. It's all just out there. It's growing up and up and up, and as time passes. So he's only doing surface things is my point. he's doing surface stuff. He's trying to show that he's cleaning things up and trying to make it look like he is doing all the right things, but it's only surface. So when he gets to the end of the year, I saw the guy from Green Acres, Green Acres is the place, Eddie Albert. And he's standing there, and his wife, who's wealthy, she wants him to be done, I think, because that's how the feeling in Green Acres, it's like that. She doesn't like the problems. And I do think Ireland is doing well. What I did see was Ireland is white meaning, like I saw it like a table, a block, white. It was very like solid. But I also saw that it's temporary. Like it's going to, they have made things stronger there. But I also saw that there's some things built into the system that are going to start to break it down a little bit. And I don't know what that is exactly. But that's not next year. That's, I think, in a couple of years or so. Like I said, time is very nebulous. Let's see, what else? Labour Party not having anybody to compete with Rishi Sunak. So they don't have anybody. So they don't like him at all. But they don't have anybody that would pull, get enough votes. I did see maybe 2025 or something, maybe somewhere from the west of England, Wales, that would come in and be a Labour Party person that would give him a run for his money. That's what I saw. And I don't know who. I saw the word Connolly, but I don't know if that's even a thing or if it's a person, if I'm making it up. Yeah, so here's to 2024. Let's make it a great year. This is my coffee. So Harry and Meghan, they are obviously going downhill as far as we can see. So I wanted to dive deep into what's happening with them. And I don't always criticize Harry as much as I criticize Meghan, because Harry is being manipulated. She's the power one, but she's also broken. They're both broken. So I'm going to pull some cards, but first I just want to go over a few things that I understand that he wants to fill his mother's shoes, right? So that's one thing. And Meghan does that. She manipulated him and made this big, and she does that for a lot of people. She makes it look like she's this powerful woman and she's a philanthropist, and they started that Archwell Foundation, which, by the way, I think I did some meditating on that. It's going to have a big flourish because I do think they have money in the bank. That's going to be a big flourish. And before they end it this next year, it's going to go in the tanks, or they're going to take those funds and divert them to another entity that does good work, and they'll say that's that, so that way they can move on. And they gave the reins to somebody else because they're just too busy. So, okay, so that's Archwell in 2024. I do see March and April really, really bad. I see Meghan very thin, and I don't know if she'll survive, more than likely, because she's just a survivor. But I do see that he's on the verge of understanding exactly what he got himself into. When I meditated on his energy, I saw him packing a bag. I saw him kissing his children, like goodbye. He's getting on a plane. Could be all the lawsuits he's going through in England. And when I've read on him in the past, I know they're trying to teach people. They are trying to teach people how to behave and how bad the media is and how racist everybody is in the royal family, which, of course, we know they're not. Meghan has manipulated the situation, and she always had a plan. She always had a plan to leave England. And I thought she was fine. I thought she was pretty. No issues. But then as time passed, I realized she's a narcissist. And she's a broken human. And her father treated her like a little princess. So that's what she wants life to be. And she wants to be in control. And Harry's just kind of whiny. He's a whiny, baby who can't seem to grow up. It's perpetual Peter Pan who's crying in his porridge because he can't feel better. So drugs and therapy, nothing wrong with either one of those. Just saying he's trying. He hasn't found a solution yet. So that's why I have a hard time, he's a broken person. So I'm going to pull some cards on them for 2024 in general, but I do think she's going to get a lawyer and protect herself for next year. Yeah. And Eight of Pentacles. Oh, you know what? Maybe they will get some work. And the Empress, that's her. She's going to be working more, according to this. And the Hangman. They're going to shift it around. Looks like she is going to, I don't know if that WME is going to let her go, but she's going to try something different. Because she's a survivor, like I said. And she's going to be the Empress. She wants to be in charge and be the mother. And think she's a creator. She's creating. Eight of Pentacles is working with a lot of people on a project or a commission. Hangman is about looking at things from a different perspective. But also it's going to take a while to get going. So I think she's going to be talking about it next year. And something's going to come up, a new situation. I don't know if they're going to let her go, that WME, yet. I don't feel like it's imminent. But I do think she's getting lawyers. Not so much about Harry, but just in general. And I think she's going to, if they help her, she's going to use them for Harry. I think she's going to use them for her work. Like making sure she's protected on things she's doing. Yeah, she's dreaming. She's dreaming. And she's gonna be waiting on this partnership that's gonna get the Three of Wands. So she's waiting on a partnership she's planning. And Harry, so I have sons. I don't have any daughters. And what I know is when I look, boys are different. I'm not English either, so this is different, and I'm not a royal person. But when I look at William and Harry and how they're reacting to different situations, I feel sympathy for them because I look at them as being boys. Diana and I were the same age-ish, so I watched them grow up, right? So William he's going to put his country first, then his family, his immediate family, and then Harry's going to be down the road. So if there's any compromise that happens, it's going to be very, very, it has to be on Harry's end. It can't be on William's end because he's got to protect, he's going to be king in the not too distant future. And he's got to protect that, and he's got an image, and there's no way. And he's angry, and his wife is angry. And they have a beautiful life together. Probably not perfect. They're humans. But it looks perfect. So sometimes boys grow up to be men, never speak again. Boys think Harry will come back to England. He'll do sort of a Prince Andrew kind of thing where he is on the edges, on the outs, and he may get jobs eventually. But next year. Okay, let's talk about next year, 2024. William and he won't get together. There'll be like 4 or 5 more lawsuits that he's going to go through in England. He's going back and forth. And somehow, by doing that, it keeps him tied into the UK. It keeps him, it gives him a little jolt. England. Yeah, but he's a liar. He lies because he doesn't want to look at the reality either. Like I said, he was in trauma. So let's look at Harry in 2024. And then I'll see about William and Harry together, but I'm pretty sure there's not going to be anything going. Well, let's do that because I feel like that was William and Harry. Yeah, 7 of Wands. Yep. Standstill. Nothing's happening. Okay. And there are going to be complacency. So that tells me everybody's going to go to their corners kind of thing. And they'll be battling. Yeah. So Harry, 2024. Okay. He's losing sleep. He's going to be losing sleep. And then things speed up. Queen of Cups. I think he's looking at her, and actually, I feel like this is the family, not just her, but the family, their immediate family, the kids and them. But he's still depressed. Let's see, by the end of 2024, and I got, this deck has a different kind of cards. This is going deep. This is the Matt Hughes deck, and this is called The Well, which to me, I think of as Scorpio, deep feeling, and it came after the Eight of Wands. Maybe he's going to get a reprieve where he's going to get his interest back with her. No, he's by himself and battling. No. I wish he would get hypnotherapy. Therapy in it is very fast because you're getting to your subconscious, and your subconscious has all your beliefs, your memories in it. So your adult mind confuses, your conscious mind tells you, you learn things, and so that confuses the situation because you intellectually you use that to decipher a situation. But when you're in hypnotherapy, you can let that conscious mind go, and you turn off your head, and you listen to your subconscious. It's in your heart, it's in your body. You carry all that in your body. So the death of Diana, I'm sure, is somewhere in his body, unless he's gotten rid of it. No, well, 10 of Pentacles and the Lover. So maybe he will get some therapeutic things that will help him, but it looks like William's not going to open it up to him. He's going to keep his country safe, or keep his country and his national representative. He's representing the UK, and so he's going to be doing that. So nothing new with them. I just feel that like they're getting smaller and smaller, and Meghan's a liar, and so is Harry. And it's very protective, like it's very self-protective, but they give each other permission to do it. So yeah, they both are. She's making up racist stuff because she's a perpetual victim. And that is Harry and William and Meghan for next year. And a few more things. India and Pakistan have struggled for a long, long time. And so the only thing I got when I asked about that, because I feel like I'm not tied into that part of the world very much, but energetically. And I heard Pakistan will work. I think will work towards something, maybe, or they will work on it, or they are I do know that people say that they harbor terrorists there and stuff. So that's what I heard. It was a positive feeling. So that's good. That's a weird thing to end on, but if you have any more questions or ideas or suggestions, please forward them to me, and I will do my best to look into them. Okay? All is well. Till next time.